Welcome. My name's Jeff Everhart, and in this WordPress tutorial, we're going to walk you through how to install Google Analytics on a WordPress blog. I'm going to take you through step by step from creating a Google Analytics tracking ID to installing the Yoast Google Analytics plugin, and then finally setting up tracking for our WordPress blog. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is open up a new tab in our browser window and go ahead and go out to Google Analytics. And so we're going to go ahead and then click on this first option that appears right here, just google.com/analytics. And then it's also worth mentioning that you might have to sign up separately for a Google Analytics account. Usually you can just use your Google account to do that, which I've done here. And so we can just click sign in, and then I'm going to sign in to Google Analytics. Once we log into Google Analytics, we can see all of our different website properties, or at least the ones that I own and manage, listed right here. But what we're going to need to do before we can get started is go in and actually create a separate Google Analytics tracking ID to install on our new site. So I'll come over and we'll head into the admin area. And then we can see here that I've got a list of properties. And I've already configured an account, so I've got that set up. And we're going to come over here and create a new property. We're going to go ahead and call this Hacking Wealth after our site. Enter the URL. So we'll do www.hackingwealth.com. Industry category. This blog is kind of aimed at finance, so we'll go ahead and select that. Reporting time zone. I am in Eastern Time. So we'll select that. Then it says this account has 5 properties. You can have up to 50 properties in one account. So then I'm going to go ahead and click Get Tracking ID, and it is going to produce me this JavaScript snippet that I am going to then use later to set up tracking on my WordPress site. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave this page open in this window. I'm going to go ahead and click copy, and then I'm going to head back into my WordPress installation and go into the dashboard. Once I'm in the dashboard, I'm going to head into the plugins menu, and then I'm going to actually add a new plugin. So we'll click into that menu, and then in the search plugins field, I'm going to type in Yoast Google Analytics, which is a great Google Analytics plugin, and then we're going to go ahead and search for that. Should scroll down, and here we can see we've got this great plugin, Google Analytics by Yoast. I'm going to go ahead and click Install Now. It's worth mentioning that this plugin has over 1 million active installations and has achieved 4 stars. So that's pretty good. Looking at reviews of WordPress plugins is good, but it's also helpful to look at how many people are actually using it. So even though this doesn't have a 5-star review, it's being used by over 1 million sites, where some of these other options might have better reviews, but fewer active installations. So this project is being updated, managed. There's a pro or paid version that they also sell that you can upgrade to, so that also is a reason for them to continue upgrading it. But I'm going to go ahead and just click Install Now to start installing this plugin. And it'll go ahead and install for me, and then we'll go ahead and activate it. And we should get a success message when that is done. Okay, and it looks like we've successfully activated it down there, and great. After the Yoast Google Analytics plugin has been installed and activated, we can then see that up here underneath our dashboard menu bar, an analytics bar has been added with some extra pages. So let's go ahead and start checking out this analytics bar and click into the dashboard of the analytics page. So here is where we would see the actual overview of our Google Analytics once we actually authenticate and link our Google Analytics profile. Here's some of the settings menus. And this is where we're actually going to go through the process of authenticating with Google Analytics, which I'll walk you through, and then we'll talk about some of these different settings. So the easiest way to link your Google Analytics tracking ID and the Yoast SEO plugin, or the Yoast Google Analytics plugin, is to authenticate with your Google account using this option right here. So it's going to go ahead, open up a pop-up window. It should recognize whatever Google account you're signed into the browser with already, and I'm just going to go ahead and click Allow to let this process happen. Then it says, here's this code, go ahead and copy it down. So I'm going to copy this code right now, close out this window, and then we'll see that the plugin has popped us up another window where we can actually paste this authentication code in there and then click Save. And it should go out and then authorize our Google Analytics tracking ID and install that. Okay, and so it looks like there were no changes. We had a little bit of an error, so let's come back in here. We'll pick this account, and yes, we wanted Hacking Wealth, and then re-authenticate with the Google account. Okay, and it looked like it took that time. Settings saved. Everything is working like it should. Okay, so cool. There are a couple of options in here that I'm going to walk through that you may or may not want to use as you're using this Yoast Google Analytics plugin. One is tracking outbound click and download. So this is generally helpful because you can track events and how people interact with your site. So if you have resources that you're selling, ebooks, PDFs, code files, things you want people to download, and you want to be able to track those, we can do that here with Google Analytics. This allows the tracking of anonymous data. Generally, this is something they recommend turning on, so I'm going to do it to help the people at Yoast out. You could also anonymize IPs, and this helps anonymize the information being sent by the tracker objects. And so this is something helpful if you want to provide your users with a little bit of privacy. Right below that, we've got this Ignore Users bar. This is really helpful because this will ignore the clicks that you make as the administrator logged into the site. So it's not going to log when you're going out, you're previewing a post, you're looking at your own blog post while you're logged into WordPress as an admin or an editor, it'll go ahead and ignore those. If we wanted to disable the Google Analytics dashboard, which we have over here, we could do that here. Not sure why you would want to do that, but they give you that option. Over here, let's hop into the Universal tab, because there's some things I think you'd want to turn on in here. So one of the really cool things that Google Analytics can do is it can provide you reports about what types of people are accessing your site. So where do they live? Are they male or female? What age range are they in? And what are some of their interests? And this is called demographics and interest reports in Google Analytics. And so this helps you target your audience better. So if you know a lot of technophiles are coming to your site, you can find tech-related things to market towards them. So I generally recommend turning this on because it's going to give you another layer of data about the users of your site, and we can turn that on right there. Also in here, I'm going to walk through these things really quickly, and we'll just go ahead and save these changes. And then head back to the dashboard. So once I've done that, we'll save these changes. We can go in here into advanced, and there's a lot of other options. I'm not going to run through all of these things because they're pretty advanced and outside of the scope of this tutorial, but just knowing that they're here is helpful. Using custom dimensions, this is an example of the premium version of Google Analytics by Yoast I was telling you about. And then also debug mode is going to be pretty helpful for you. So if you ever feel like your site isn't doing what you want it to do, we can actually come in here and enable debug mode, which is actually going to console log some of that information out to the browser or the Chrome developer tools. So that's a way you can do that. They don't recommend you leave it on all the time because it takes a little bit longer because it's doing some extra things. So now that we've done that, let's head back to the dashboard. We should see some changes since we've actually gone ahead and linked our site. So here we've got an overview of sessions and bounce rate. So some really helpful metrics that you can use once users start coming to your site and Google Analytics starts picking up those tracking signals is you can display that right here for you within WordPress. You could always also go back to Google Analytics and look at that information after you've created the property here on their main dashboard page, which is also very helpful. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any questions about installing Google Analytics with WordPress or using the Google Analytics by Yoast plugin, definitely leave me a comment in the bottom of the YouTube comments or on my blog.